Hi, everyone. Welcome to the RoxFilm Daily Script Reads. This is our second day, and it's a lot of fun. We have readings each time. It's a work in progress, so sometimes we start also in the middle of a piece, and it's usually something that the writer is working on. And we have novice writers, we have seasoned writers, we have no idea what we're going to find each day. So it could be that this is just a certain thing they're working on. The characters, we have actors playing all different types of characters. So if it says a male and it's a female, that female is playing a male character. That happens. If it says somebody's old, if the description is old and it's a 20-year-old, you know that they're actually playing a 60-year-old. So, but these actors are fantastic and they're able to stretch. So have a wonderful time. I'm going to introduce all of the people. We'll start with our writer, Macsonny. Introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Macsonny Onyechefule. I am the writer of this piece. This piece has been with me for several years, and I'm just very grateful to have these talented actors read it out for the first time.
Wonderful. Thank you. And now we have Dashaun.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dashaun Bartley. I'll be reading part of Kyle. I'm looking forward to putting my adaptation on this. Hope you enjoy.
Thank you. And it changes for me. Anjie.
Hi, my name is Anjie Parker, and I'll be reading the role of Tammy.
Thank you. And Brenda.
Hi, my name is Brenda Ray, and I'm going to be reading the roles of Senior and Nelson.
Wonderful. And Rahman.
Hello, my name is Rahman Oladigbolu, and I'll be reading the role of Marcus Gage.
Thank you. Gilda?
My name is Gilda James, and I'm going to be reading the line as a cashier and the medical examiner.
Thank you. Jackie?
Hi, my name is Jacqueline Parker, and I will be reading the role of William.
Thank you. Ashley?
Hi, my name is Ashley Alderondo, and I will be reading the role of Joshua.
Thank you. And we will be seeing Macsonny later and Jackie later. And last we have, thank you, we have Darline.
Hi, my name is Darline Ann Harris, and I'll be reading the narrator and leader. The Duffel, written by Macsonny C. Onyechefule. Interior, pharmacy, night. At a small mom and pop operation, Kyle Nolan, 21, bruised and hurt, brings a candy bar to the register. The cashier, a woman with short purple hair, gives him a look.
I fell down some steps.
That. You must be very clumsy.
Hasn't been the most graceful day.
She rings up the candy.
$1.25.
Kyle gives her the money as three men dressed in black and with matching ski masks burst in. The men on the sides have shotguns. The middle one has a handgun. The shotgun guys start harassing people in different areas of the pharmacy. The leader moves to Kyle and the cashier. He raises his gun so that it's level to Kyle's face and reveals a scorpion tattoo on his inner right wrist. You brought this on yourself. He fires the handgun, and there's a bang and a flash of light. Interior, Tammy's house. Tammy's bedroom, early morning. Kyle lurches upright in the bed and starts breathing rapidly. After a few seconds, his breathing calms. He turns to find Tammy Richards, 21, rolling over and waking up. She sees Kyle and gets a look on her face.
Morning.
Hey, you sleep much?
A little. You? Mm. How bad was it?
I don't know.
You know, it's not your fault, right?
It wouldn't change anything. We should get going. Got a long day ahead of us.
When's the meeting?
In a couple of hours, we gotta make a stops first.
He gets up and grabs his jeans. Tammy shakes her head and throws the cover off of herself. Kyle's phone is vibrating on the nearby drawer. He picks it up and looks at the message.
We gotta get going.
We getting breakfast first?
That's one of our first stops.
He hands her shoes over to her. Exterior, crime scene, Buick Day. A silver Buick sits in a field. The front windshield reveals 4 bullet holes, almost perfectly aligned with the 2 front headrests. Those seats are still occupied by the driver 20s and passengers 20s. Interior, silver Buick Day. The medical examiner, 30s, is leaning behind one of the seats and examining the back of the occupant's head, while the senior officer, 40s, watches from the driver's seat.
So how they're seated, I doubt they saw it coming.
So chances are they knew who took them out.
The detective can't confirm that, but it's my current assessment.
The senior officer, with gloved hands, he pulls the mechanism to pop the trunk up. From a safe distance, Joshua Coleman, 26, neatly dressed but casual, watches the senior officer pull out from the trunk a shotgun and black ski mask, not unlike the one in Kyle's dream memory as he answers his vibrating phone.
Hello, sir? Yeah, they found the car. That's 2 loose ends taken care of. No, I wasn't discovered. I'll get you in a few minutes. You'll be there in time. See you soon.
He ends the call and walks away from the scene. Interior, Nelson's corner day. Nelson Willis, 60, whistles to himself while finishing the inventory at his cash register. Outside, a beat-up Toyota comes pulled up to the curb near the store. The front door's chime ring, and in comes Kyle, bearing bruises from recent misadventures and a package in his hand.
Morning.
Well, you look like shit.
It hasn't been the best weekend. You open for business?
Depends. The place ain't going to get bullet holes in it. Really, is it?
Wasn't my fault.
You really believe that?
Don't need the lecture.
Get what you need.
Kyle picks up a roll of duct and scotch tape. He grabs 2 newspapers. He then picks up a bottle of orange juice and a box of brown sugar cinnamon toaster pastries. He examines a tape recorder and contemplates it for a second. He then brings the basket up to Nelson and rings him up.
That'll be $24.17.
Kyle gives him a $20 bill along with a crumbled $5 bill.
Change.
He exits the store, and Nelson noticed the package on his counter. As the Toyota rolls away from the curb and out of sight, on the package, he sees a tag that reads, Mr. Willis Nelson, opens the package and its unseen contents bring a huge grin to his face.
So did you get him?
Interior, beat up Toyota. Day. From the passenger seat, Kyle reaches into the bag and takes out a package of toaster pastries. He opens it and hands a pastry to Tammy, who's behind the wheel, before munching on the other one. There's a vibrating sound, and Kyle pulls his cell phone out of his pocket.
Hello? Yeah, I'm on my way right now. Just had to make a stop. I'll be there. Just calm down.
He ends the call.
Is that the detective?
Yeah.
Can you trust him?
Interior, unmarked car day. Michael Stetson, 38, neatly dressed and tired, is looking at his cell phone before putting it aside and taking a sip of his coffee. Sitting in the passenger seat and working on some equipment is Marcus Gage, 27. Bearded and casually dressed, is working on a listening device.
You talk to the kid yet?
Well, yeah, he's on his way.
You all right? I mean, after what happened a few days ago.
Didn't ask.
A couple of guys were found with 2 new holes in their heads. The gear they had points to their involvement with the pharmacy.
We'll worry about that later.
It's all set. We just need the kid to get here.
Stetson nods as the phone rings again. Gage hears the ringing, but goes back to examining the wiretapping. Stetson gives him a sideways glance and looks down at his phone.
Our friend in blue not responding?
Our friend in blue not responding. Interior, Cadillac Day. Joshua is driving and sneaking peeks at his phone. His screen reads, calling the blue man. He looks in the rear view mirror and finds his boss, Vernon Williams, 42, sitting in the back reading the newspaper.
Eyes on the road, please.
Joshua swallows before closing the phone and looking ahead. Williams noticed this and puts down the paper.
Has he answered?
He hasn't responded, sir.
Probably doesn't want to alert his partner. How close are we?
About 10 to 15 minutes.
How about being a little more precise?
Okay, it'll be 15 minutes.
Okay, then. Speed it up. The sooner we get there, the sooner we clean up the rest of your mess.
Joshua swallows his annoyance and continues driving. Williams in the back seat is looking at the comic section of the paper. Interior, Fantasy House office, night, flashback. We see a newspaper headline that reads, local business, a tragic victim of blaze. A knocking is heard as a white door comes into view.
Come in.
Kyle enters, dressed in black collared shirt with matching pants. Williams, sitting behind the desk, looks up with a small smile. Joshua standing beside him.
Oh, Kyle, good to see you. Is everything ready for tonight?
All the bars are stocked and everyone got glasses.
Excellent. Teresa said you wanted to speak to me.
Well, don't keep us in suspense.
I heard Louis got let go last night.
Williams clears his and puts his paper down before looking at Kyle again.
Well, news travels fast.
Well, that
There
makes
were trust issues.
that makes the fourth bartender in as many months.
Good to know that you can count. All that time in college really did wonders.
Well, sir, I'd like to take a shot at replacing him. I've been here for 3 years. I know all the drinks. I just want an opportunity to prove myself.
Things are probably going to be slow, so we can ease you in.
Respectfully, sir, it's because it might be slow that we can't use him. We need someone who's experienced and can bring people to the club. He's been here 3 years and hasn't brought anyone.
I literally just turned 21 2 months ago.
So what? You don't have older friends. Do you have any friends?
I can work in a less busy section. I can take over for Tammy. She's leaving in a month for school.
Aren't you going with her?
I have to put things on hold for a little bit.
Grades?
No, it's more of a tuition thing. Look, sir, I really need a chance.
Let's put a pin in it for now. In the meantime, I suggest you go out and do the job you have.
Exterior. Fantasy house. Back parking lot. Night. Flashback. It's near the end of the night, and Cal exits the club via the back door carrying 2 garbage bags. While moving to a nearby dumpster, he sees Joshua and 2 of his friends, the driver and the passenger in the Buick from earlier, lodged against the car nearby.
Busy night?
Probably busier than yours.
The silence between them and their mutual dislike. For a few seconds, as Joshua moves from his friends to closer to Kyle's.
I doubt that. I just don't waste my time with menial shit. But we're all in our proper place.
So that's why you acted like an asshole earlier, to keep me in my place.
I was just advising him on a business decision.
Bullshit. It's a bartender job. You barely interact with people who work in the club.
Doesn't mean I don't pay attention. They didn't teach you this in school. That's probably why you're not going back.
That's a temporary situation, but you're always going to be Williams' lackey.
Joshua smiles, punches Kyle in the stomach, bringing him to one knee. Kyle gets up to retaliate, but stops when he sees Joshua's friends ready to back him up. Joshua smirks at the hesitation.
You don't know what I do for that man.
Joshua and his friends walk past Kyle and through the back entrance of the club. Kyle refocuses and moves towards the dumpster. He carefully throws the bag in to avoid breakage. He's checking for debris on his clothes when something catches his eye. Around the corner of the dumpster sits the duffel bag that will cause him so many problems. He unzips it and sees the contents, and his eyes widen.
Hey.
Interior, the beat up Toyota day. A newspaper to the face wakes Kyle up, and he rubs his eyes. He looks. Kyle faces front and sees the exterior of the Fantasy House nightclub.
I can't hear you, Kyle. What'd you say? Listen, you know how I feel when I just wake up. I can't hear you. What?
I can't believe I nodded off.
I don't blame you. I should stay, back you up.
Yeah, sounds like an extremely shitty idea given the recent events.
And what do you call taking that?
She inclines her head and sees the duffel bag sitting next to the large purse in the middle of the back seat.
An opportunistic decision.
Getting Williams like this wasn't even your idea.
No, but it's the quickest way to stop all this. Too many people are getting hurt. Have gotten hurt.
Kyle takes a second as the events from the pharmacy shooting briefly plays in his mind. Tammy, knowing what he's thinking about, puts a hand on his shoulder.
That wasn't your fault. But trusting Williams for this meeting?
I don't trust him at all, but I have a backup.
You mean those cops? They started this shit and you know Williams won't show up alone.
Of course I know that, but I'm not risking any more lives.
Except your own.
Can't really help that now.
Open the glove compartment.
I don't need that.
At least now everyone will have one.
Exterior, fantasy house day. Stetson sees Kyle with the bag in his lap through the windshield, but can't see much else. Interior, beat up Toyota day. Tammy watches Stetson approach while Kyle moves stuff around in the duffel bag. Kyle takes the gun and stuffs it in the bag before reaching for something else in the grocery bag.
What was that, Tammy?
Said he's waiting.
I know. Just one more second.
Are you sure this is gonna work?
50-50.
He zips up the bag and acknowledges Stetson with a small wave. Stetson keeps his hand in his pocket.
Make sure you...
Don't worry. I'll get it done.
For everything.
They kiss.
I'm back alive. Okay?
Certainly try.
There is no try.
Kyle heads out with the bag. Tammy watches him head off, and as Kyle looks back, he gives him a wave and drives off. Exterior, fantasy house day. Kyle watches her go before heading over to Stetson's direction. As Stetson is waiting for him near the door with his hands across his chest.
Well, about time you showed up. Do I need to count it?
Kyle drops it at his feet.
You're not focused.
Stetson gives the duffel a look before looking at Kyle.
Let's get started.
A piece of medical tape is attached to a small microphone. Before it is placed on Kyle's bare chest, Kyle pulls his shirt down as Stetson puts materials away. They're in the club's back parking lot. Gage is standing near their car, smoking a cigarette. Stetson looks up at Kyle.
Are you all right?
Just fine.
Don't seem to be.
A little wired. Plus, there's a chance I'm gonna die in a few minutes.
They wouldn't let that happen. They'll at least get the money first. All right, not funny.
Kyle grabs the bag and heads to the front of the club. Once out of the cops' line of sight, he reaches into the bag and pulls out the gun before placing it in the back of his jeans. In the back parking lot, there's a brief ringing. Stetson looks up at Gage, who realizes why he's staring.
Just some girl.
Stetson shakes his head and gets on the phone. Gage takes his out and looks at the text messages. It starts with the second ring. Gage lets out a breath. Exterior, Fantasy House front entrance day. Kyle sees a well-kept Cadillac sitting in a reserved parking space. Joshua steps out first, holding something in his hand. He proceeds to open the door for Williams, who steps out.
Hello, Kyle.
Mr. Williams.
Exterior, Fantasy House, back parking lot day. Stetson and Gage is waiting in the car. Their eyes are on the wiretap device between them. Both have headphones on and are listening to what's being said.
You said you were coming alone. Clearly, that was a lie.
Joshua is here for my protection. Recent events have proven your unpredictability.
A phone starts ringing and abruptly stops. Stetson gives Gage a WTF expression. Gage holds up a finger, takes off his headphones, and steps out of the car. We see him walking around the back of the car, drawing his gun.
Funny you think I'm a threat, given what you ordered a few nights ago.
Exterior, Fantasy House, front entrance day. Kyle stares down the two men in front of him. Joshua looks like he's about to crack up.
Yes, well, a rational man wouldn't have kept that bag knowing the pain it caused.
Maybe so. But a smart one knows you'd have that animal put me down the second you got it.
So now we're talking about self-preservation.
Better late than never.
Is that why you're wearing a wire right now? You think I wouldn't find out? How do you think I got where I am?
By burning down other people's businesses?
The recent businesses was necessary, unfortunately. And the wire's not going to help now.
Listen to him, kiddo. Cal turns to find Gage dragging Stetson in at gunpoint with hands cuffed. He then turns to see Williams and Joshua grinning.
We can use the kid.
Interior, police headquarters day, flashback. Stetson and Gage are sitting at adjoining desk. Stetson is reading the paper and Gage is sitting across from him, reclining in his chair as he contemplates something.
What's on your mind?
Nolan. You just gave him back the bag he brought in.
Good for him. Let's hope he doesn't spend it all in one place.
You know whose money that really is?
We can agree to disagree on that.
Can you not be an asshole and see the opportunity here?
And what opportunity is that?
We can use him to get to Williams.
Stetson, who had the paper covering his face, lowers it to see if his partner is screwing around.
Think about it. The kid has the money, and we know Williams is going to send the wolves for it.
It won't be bloodless.
10-1 odds. That blood will belong to guys we want, miss.
The captain wants clean streets, but you're too young to present that sort of plan.
They'll all fall under your watch. As long as I get some credit.
Seems like a fair shake. Let's hope this kid is smart enough to see a helping hand.
He heads to the captain's office. Gage, smirking at his retreating partner, turns to his desk and sees Stetson's gun sitting idly on the desk.
He never ceases to surprise me.
Interior, Fantasy House, main bar area, day. Williams, Gage, and Joshua are all staring at the gun Kyle took from Tammy before their confrontation. A little further away, Kyle and Stetson are sitting in chairs facing each other. Their arms are behind their backs of the chair and their wrists wrapped in duct tape. Their legs are also restrained with duct tape, and Stetson is staring at Kyle.
You brought a gun with you?
Well, everyone else did.
Are you fucking stupid?
Not usually. This is an awful weekend for me.
Kyle looks over at the three co-conspirators who are looking through the bag on a nearby table. There's a concerned look on all of their faces before they turn to Kyle.
Shit.
Joshua picks up his gun, with Williams and Gage following closely. Williams steps ahead and drops the still open bag near Kyle's feet. Stetson notices the gun on Gage's hip as he walks past him. Kyle noticed that he's doing, and he and Stetson lock eyes. The simple message, stall. Williams, oblivious to the silent communication, slugs Kyle in the face, rocking his head back. Joshua, who's standing on the right side of his boss, chuckles at this. Kyle slumps his head forward with a groan.
Where's my goddamn money?
Legally, it's mine.
William slams his fist into Kyle's stomach. Kyle doubles over before rocked back into the seated position. Blood dribbles down his mouth as he forces a grin. Unbeknownst to his captors, Kyle starts loosening the duct tape on his wrist by subtly twisting back and forth.
So this is how you get your hands dirty. Make sure the other guy is tied up or can't defend.
The statement is interrupted by another crack at his jar, which whips his head back. Stetson is just about free from his bonds. Kyle groans in pain from the last hit, but resumes work on his own restraints. Williams gives Joshua a nod, and Joshua steps forward so he's parallel to his boss and puts his gun at Kyle's forehead. Kyle sees the scorpion tattoo on his inner right wrist and flashes back to interior, pharmacy, night, flashback. The pharmacy with the leader's gun pointed squarely at his temple, the scorpion tattoo visible on his wrist. You brought this on yourself. He suddenly moves the gun towards the register and fires. Kyle turns towards the register and sees the cashier with her stomach starting to bleed, and she crumbles to the floor. Her blood drenches her hand, covering the wound. Kyle looks back towards the leader again, hate blazing in his eyes.
Did you enjoy that?
Interior, Fantasy House, main lobby, day. Back in the present, Kyle ignores the gun in his face, and turns towards Williams, who is starting and staring back at him.
Enjoy what?
Bullshit! You sent that asshole and his friends to the pharmacy.
Normally, I wouldn't have been so reckless, but this foolishness has gone on long enough. The biggest mistake was handing off the task to.
In one fluid motion, Joshua turns his gun to the side of Williams' temple and fires. A second later, Williams' body is on the floor and his brain matter is on the nearby wall. The silence engulfs the entire room as everyone turns to Williams' lifeless body before focusing on Joshua.
What the fuck? The
Jesus Christ.
Come on. It's not like you're gonna miss him.
He presses the gun against Kyle's forehead, and Kyle takes a deep breath. Stetson tries to loosen the tape, but it causes a small rip, which is heard by everyone. Gage turns and sees what he's doing.
shit.
Gage raises his gun as the other two look on. Joshua lowers the gun out of surprise. Kyle, his hands now free, knocks the gun away and it fires off a shot. The shot distracts Gage long enough for Stetson to tackle him to the ground. His gun skitters across the floor. Stetson starts pushing and punching Gage while Guile is getting plummeted by Joshua. Stetson takes a punch to the face before Gage's hand wrapped around his throat, putting him to the ground. Kyle's feet get free and he kicks Joshua in the crotch and punches him in the jaw before he pushes him off. Kyle looks up to find Gage plummeting Stetson. Picking up the nearby gun, he sneaks behind Gage and slams the butt of it into his head a couple of times before he's out cold. Still holding the gun, Kyle helps Stetson up.
Thanks.
Problem.
He looks over at their unconscious captors. Before both men turn away from them and head towards the table that held the duffel bag, Joshua is face down, but slowly raises his head. Kyle and Stetson are oblivious to that.
They're gonna be awake soon.
Yeah.
Joshua raises the gun and aims at Stetson's back. Kyle turns around in time and sees this unfold. Pushing Stetson out of the way, he lifts his gun and pulls the trigger. Just as Joshua pulls back and pulls his, the screen goes back as two shots ring out. Exterior, Fantasy House, front entrance day. Many people are milling about. Cops, EMTs, reporters talking in front of cameras. Gage is loaded into the back of a cruiser. Stetson is talking with a couple of other officers when he sees a beat up Toyota pull up a distance from the hubbub. Tammy exits the car and Stetson breaks from the officer as they approach the yellow police tape almost simultaneously from opposite sides.
Detective Stetson,
Miss Richards,
what happened here? Are you all right?
could be better. Why don't you come join me on the side?
Tammy ducks under the yellow tape and follows Stetson as he heads towards a group of EMTs. As they're walking, Tammy turns and sees a couple of guys bringing out a body bag.
This way, please.
They walk to an ambulance and find Kyle sitting on a gurney in the while being treated by the EMTs with his eyes closed. There's a bullet wound in his right arm.
Jesus Christ.
What are you saying, Kyle?
Hey, sorry. How was the rest of your morning?
Better than yours.
What, this? Just a flesh wound, but you're definitely right.
What happened to Williams?
You didn't see the body bag?
Jesus, how bad?
Stetson clears his throat and Kyle inclines his head to another ambulance. Joshua is sitting in a gurney and is being tended by the EMTs as a couple of cops stand guard.
Why'd he do it?
I guess he wanted more respect and was tired of everyone other people.
The EMTs loaded him into the back of the ambulance and the cops joined him. The ambulance then exits the parking lot. Stetson exhales and he refocuses on the circus in front of them.
Well, we can all expect a little publicity over this, but I wanted some things cleared up.
He picks up the duffel bag and zips it open. There's a layer of money on the top, but he reveals underneath it various newspapers. Kyle and Tammy look at the bag and it reveals content and smile.
You saw the gift?
Of course.
He pulls out the recorder that Kyle brought.
There was enough to put Williams away had he lived. But with your buddy Joshua being the lone survivor, things get murky.
But that's not what you're concerned about.
Not at this moment.
It was my money, right?
Where's the rest of it? Where's the rest of it?
It was my money, right?
Legally, yes, but
So why do you need to know?
just humor me, okay?
It's where it needs to be.
Stetson nods and looks down at the recorder.
Tell me, what made you bring that?
With who we're meeting? You honestly think I didn't know there would be a hitch?
Stetson smiles and gives him a wave before walking away. Tammy and Kyle look at the bag.
All the deliveries were made.
Good. The rest go to the cashier's family. Get rid of the rest. They won't get rid of the pain, but it should help.
I know. How are you feeling?
It's going to be wild if I can answer that.
Would it help if I said you did good?
Helps a little.
There's a bit of silence as the weight of the situation hangs over them.
What a crazy weekend.
Tell me about it.
Tammy gives him a smile. Kyle returns as if they hold hands, fade to black.
Yay. Thanks, everyone. Okay, and unmute yourselves if you're in a quiet place. Let's start with you, Macsonny. How was this experience for you, hearing your work read?
It's funny because as like I was just thinking about it, I was actually going through like some of the the very one of the first drafts I did about this was back in 2011. So I've had this in the back burner for a very, very long time. And I let it go for a few years, and then it came back more recently. It's just kind of wild hearing the characters' voices outside of my head and coming from other people for the first time in a while. So, but I'm truly grateful to everybody. They did an excellent job reading it. My apologies for typos, but it was a really cool experience hearing, and it made me think about certain characters and certain things.
Well, it was something for us. And so, what is the origin story, just briefly, like in less than 30 seconds, tell me like where you got the idea to do this, and are any of the characters you or people that you know, like essence, not that people who
No, no,
commit crimes.
no, it's funny because like like I was in that period of my life where I was reading a lot of crime thrillers, and I grew up as a teenager reading a lot of like private investigator stuff and things like that too. Um, and it was, and it may have also been inspired by an anime series I watched as a kid. But
Cowboy
but
Bebop.
hmm?
Cowboy Bebop.
No, I actually watched that later in my 20s. I think it was like a lot of the. I feel like there was a lot of plot similarity to an episode of the show Doug. Um, but but it's fun. But it's funny because like I worked as a bar back like when early my early 20s, but I had already finished school and was just I was in that period of trying to find my way in the world, and and it was just and it was just funny because like I just wanted to see like because like you want I was in that phase where I wanted everything now. And like yeah, I wanted to be able to pay for my student loans. I wanted to pay for like all this, and sometimes you just hope that everybody has this hope where you have a day where a bag of money can drop and you can just take care of all your problems. And so that was essentially the impetus. And but as I was thinking about it now, even after I submitted the screenplay for everybody, I was thinking about the moral implications of that. And No Country for Old Men was a few years prior to this too. And so you kind of and so this is a kid who's near the end, who's at the finish line, but a lot of things have happened in the wake of him picking this bag up.
Wow. And was there anything in hearing it read by actors that you said, oh, when I wrote that line, I thought of it differently, or like anything that just snapped? And I got to apologize to the audience. One of the actors was not able to get on the Zoom, and so I had to at the last minute be Stinson. So, and I didn't have the RoxFilm
You did an
background. I was
incredible
like,
job.
oh, okay. So that was really a cold read. So
You did
it
an
happened
incredible job.
yesterday
Thank you.
with an
Thank you.
actor, so was not expecting that. But was there anything where you said, huh, or maybe I'll change the gender or anything like that?
Honestly, I thought Ashley did an incredible job as Joshua. There's definitely it definitely brought a spice that I didn't consider with the character, and like now, oh, this dude has to be played by a woman as well. Uh, Sean, you did incredible as Kyle, and you gave great reads. Everybody actually did. That's Tammy. Sorry, Angie, you also did masterful work too. You really gave a lot more emotion than even I had put on the script. So thank you so much. Rahman, great work too. I loved everybody's work, and Jackie, thank you so much for adding some things to the characters. So it's just really great because it gave me a lot to consider.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
fun. And do the actors have cast and audience any comments, any questions, any like, this was strange, whatever? Darlene?
I wanted to ask Macsonny. Macsonny, some of the characters' name like Gage and are these people you know or?
Oh no, I was I just thought the name sounded really cool. So
Yeah, I like that name. It's a in LA.
Yeah.
I was just wondering where some of the names, came from. Because you have like different names, Kyle and like that, Joshua.
The funny thing is about Gage is that I imagine him as a bald-headed white man for some reason. Even though he's younger, but than Stetson. But
And
Thanks.
now, one thing I've told other writers that that I think that's a resource they don't think about, and that's as you're going along writing things, you can have these readings, especially since there's Zoom, with actors. Now you know a bunch of actors, and there's more, and a lot of us we like doing this kind of thing because it's a practice for us, and it's like it's almost like taking a class. So it's like, sure, I've done this a lot of times when writers say, oh, I'm working on this. Could you just read it for me? And it, sometimes sounds different when people read. So, please consider this a resource and a way of writing, because, if somebody's not available, if they don't want to do it, we'll just say no. But a lot of times you can be working on something and it's like, and one thing I notice a lot, not in yours, but in other things. Just last night, I was doing a reading with a friend who's auditioning for something, and they did, which is my pet peeve, which is for some reason, a lot of writers don't write in contractions. So it is going to, so we are going to this, and it isn't the way that people speak. And then I think, well, okay, I'll just make the character speak this way. Do not say this. I cannot such and such. And instead of can't, don't, it's. And I think if they had actors reading it, they would know this isn't the way people speak. But I'm not saying that for yours, like I said.
No, actually, Andrew, I'm glad you brought it up, because I know we talked about it a little bit prior to this, and I was like, oh, wait, before I submitted the script, I was like, oh, let me go over this again, and like let me make sure, because sometimes that's a habit I've been trying to break. And one thing I did notice was like the improvisation you guys had with some of the. I know a lot of it was wording, and I appreciated how you guys just got to the point a little bit, a little quicker than I did, and it made things flow even better. So thank you.
That was actually one of my issues, not my issues, but one of my things I noticed. I was like, I don't sound like this, but I'm like, this is not me. This is the character. So I did, unfortunately, unconsciously tweaked some lines, but I appreciate that feedback too. So that was great. Thank you.
Yeah, you made it yours.
I loved your reading.
Thank you.
I did want to mention that I really love the idea of Joshua being a woman, because I do think it adds that added layer of like women being in male dominated spaces and like overcompensating and being more aggressive. So I really liked how like Ashley kind of went in on that, which is like I belong here just as much. Like, go away, Kyle, beat it. So I really just kind of like that added nuance. So when Joshua does kill Williams, I'm just like, good for you.
Let's not be too close to Angie on a dark night.
Good stuff. I had a lot of fun doing that. So if we can do this again soon.
I wonder, what plans do you have, like to make this a short or something that go to HBO where they have the 30-minute or 10-minute and all those kind of films? Like where you're taking this next?
It's interesting because like throughout every iteration of this has been a short, but it's only been the last couple of weeks where I've wanted to explore deeper themes about certain things, because like I was thinking about like what were the questions that weren't answered in the short that I'd want to answer in the feature film, like what is Kyle's, but what is, like, these people are all part of the same community, obviously. So how does this situation affect their relationship not only with each other but their relationship to the surrounding community? We saw a glimpse of that with the pharmacy shooting. We saw a glimpse of that with Nelson's reaction to Kyle's actions too. And I might fine tune the short, but I'd also just make sure that I try to make a feature length version of me. So.
Well, this was really great. Don't see any audience questions on this one unless I'm not seeing it right. Nope. So it's almost 1 o'clock. Any last words you want to say about the experience that you had?
Someone asked, would you make this into a series?
It wasn't considered, but like it definitely would fit as a mini series, like maybe 6 episodes, or maybe 6 to 8 episodes, because those are really popular on streaming and Hulu and things like that too. So that's a possibility. That's a possibility. This is still very. I know I've had this for like a while, but this is still a moment's all possibility. So.
Okay, and it looks. Oh, we have one question. Oh no. Elise Vernally says, no questions, but I think it would be nice as a series to explore more background on each character. Yeah. I agree. Well, thank you, everyone. This has been day 2
fun.
of 2024 Daily Reads. And we will be back tomorrow with another one. We seem to, I think tomorrow's also has a bit of violence. And then the last 2 are calmer. So thank you to all of our actors and to our writer and to our audience. And looks like we have one other, oh, just somebody saying thank you. So yay.
Yay.
And we'll see you tomorrow. And come to RoxFilm. There are films today at both Hibernian Hall and Northeastern. And then tomorrow, Hibernian Hall Day, and then we're back to the MFA.
Awesome.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
It was
oh,
fun.
Thank you so much, everyone. You all did wonderful.
Everyone.
Thank you.
Have a great
Fun.
day.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.